Let's take a look here. Hi, Warlander TV. Hopefully this is working, so I'm just going to do some work today because the Ranger's coming out of the woodwork finally, and we're going to do a Holy Diver show. And it's going to be the Battle of Marathon. That's what we're going to be talking about. So I don't know how much of the show it's actually going to take up. And so that's why I'm doing this stream tonight. So tonight I'm just going to be, let's full screen that so I can see what I'm doing here. Now that I know, oh well, I need to know who's in the stream. Duh, OBS won't show me that. All right, so now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to be painting some, let's see here, some Chaos Cultists, and there is a big delay. How is everything doing on the delay? Is everything okay? I don't see anything showing up on this main camera here. Yeah, just tell me what's going on before I begin work. I think I have it set to a 30-second delay. Oh, slow mode is on. That's great. All right, how do we turn off? Oh, wait a minute. How do we turn off slow mode? That's great. I'll send a message every 30 seconds. Okay. Yeah. Everything is looking good. That's all I needed to hear. Gosh, this is all wizardry. All evil wizardry to me. That's what it is. I have no idea how any of this works. No frickin' idea whatsoever. All I know is that on the screen I see my hand 30 seconds later. And I have absolutely no idea how any of this works out. I'm just going to get started. So what we're going to do here, while we hang out, you ask me any questions you like. I'll be periodically looking at the screen. We're just going to start painting up these culties. So first things first, I'm starting with a little bit of USAF dark gray. And that's going to be the predominant color for this first unit of 20. I'm painting my Iron Warriors for 40K. Peer pressure. I caved to peer pressure. My group finally got me to start another army, and I figured I'd just start Iron Warriors because I'm basically a lot like Perturabo. I'm a racist, I'm a sexist, I'm an ismphobe. You know, my sister got old one day, so I decided to kill her ass too, you know. I'm all of those things that Perturabo is, you know. So I am just going to darken up the shirt on this guy and the pants on this guy, and then that's probably the first step. Gotta get some room. Give me room. I have no room. I got big elbows here. Big elbows. So, yeah. The first and the second unit, they're going to have different color pants. That's what I did for my Orcs. That's what I'll do for my Iron Warriors. And that's what's going to happen with these guys. Different color pants for the second unit. I'm going to need 40 Chaos Cultists. 40 of these guys. So let's bring this guy back. He's not entirely dry. Let's select one more and start giving him the treatment. But it's great to see a couple of you guys. I've been busy as all hell this summer. Kickboxing, working, mostly working, and I've been, if you follow me on Instagram, I have been doing a lot of painting, and that is no joke, a lot of painting, and just participating in the campaign games with the 40K Crusade. We started a new crusade. I've got a brand new army for Orcs and everything, and everybody's having to start at 0. They forced me to burn my cards, so I lost my war boss with the legendary axe of the Great Wah, so I can't wah every turn and have an axe that just basically can deal out 27 wounds if I just roll average. That's okay. Yeah, that's going to work just fine. We'll work these 3 together. I got to do something about that cord. That's going to be annoying the entire time. What I should have done was buy a new set of Turtle Beach headphones. I'm sure they have wireless. What's up, Russell Higgins? How are you? Pebekis, it's good to see all of you. Let's see. Next color. I am going to use a little bit of Storm Vermin Fur, and that is what I'm going to use on the bases. And I'm going to water this down, because this is a really thick paint. We're just going to attack these bases real quick on these guys. Get them out of the way. I've got 3 that I finished. I'm hoping that I can get most of these cultists done inside of the next week and a half, and then I'll start my obliterators. And I've ordered some Centurion. And finally, I had an excuse to buy the Centurion models, which I think are some of the coolest models Games Workshop has made for a while. The Centurion Devastator squad. I figured I'd use those for obliterators. But I'm just going to attack these models in my usual fashion. Get work done. And I said the topic for today was just generic workload. And I always thought it would be kind of fun, instead of me doing tutorials, you just watch me handle my generic workload. So I've only chosen 3 models. I was originally going to do 2, but these guys just aren't drying fast enough. I keep my paints pretty watered down, so I might have to grab a 4th guy and keep going. But I have some stuff that I can finish on the other 3. And since these are cultists, I don't really need to go all out on them. I can just do a very dirty, dirty job on them. But yeah, we're about to start our battles through history, and I'm actually really excited because, you know, the Marathon, it's such a legendary battle. What can anybody in the chat say about Marathon? What's your favorite part? Let's stop with that. Go to a different color. These guys are gonna be yellow, so we're gonna put their yellow on right now. I'm still doing a crap ton of work here with this old brush of mine. Winsor Newton watercolors, professional watercolor sable. Cheapest, best brushes you can buy. They're all good. That's what I recommend. Let's see here. You're just a little bit drier than the rest. So with this, what did I do with the other ones? That's the question. What did I do with the other ones? Okay, just the mask. Just the mask that these guys happen to be wearing. All right, boom. These cultists these guys are actually kind of neat looking. They have a very big road warrior apocalyptic. What the bleep you wearing, MFers? Yeah, you can't swear in streams, otherwise you'll get immediately algorithmically suppressed. You know nothing about the Battle of Marathon. Well, let's just talk briefly about it. So, back in ancient Greece in the 490s, there was an incident involving the Athenians who helped the Ionian states on the Persian mainland, basically Turkey. They all revolted against the king, and the Athenians helped them revolt. And this resulted in a fire that basically burned a big tax city called Sardis to the ground. And the Persian king Darius gets a message that it was the Athenians, and he's like, "Well, who the hell are the Athenians?" And this guy's rich, and he has his servants go over, and they point to a map, and he's like, "Somebody remind me to get those MFers at the end of the day." And so basically he had a slave just before he was about to sit down for dinner, because the Ionian states, they would actually get theirs because he would punish them soon enough. Everybody who participated, Darius basically had all the most attractive men carried off as he turned them all into eunuchs, and he carted off all the attractive women to his harem. And then as he sat down to dinner, a servant would remind him, remember the Athenians. And so he did remember the Athenians. He had a small little revolt that he had to put down in Egypt. And after that, he came over with an army of, I want to say, about 100,000. And these were his crack troops led under a general by the name of Datis. And during this time frame, there had been a token submission of earth and water, because before all of that, the Athenians were having problems with the Spartans, and they didn't think they could stand against the Spartans. So the people who were sent out to get help from the king, they gave the token submission of earth and water, and then they were censored on their way back. They should not have done that, and that also started some problems. So kind of right from the beginning, the Athenians were de facto subjects to the Persian king, and that's basically, by and large, what started the first Persian War. And I don't have any notes in front of me, but they made some preparations. There was a guy by the name of, I want to say it was Pisicerus, who went with the invasion force to basically tell them the layout of the land, where they can land, because the Persians used cavalry. They fought completely different than the Greeks. Up until then, there was no point to have cavalry forces in the Greek world because Greece isn't really conducive to horse warfare. Unless you go into like Thessaly, where it's more open. But if you're in like Athens, if you're in what do you call it, Sparta, a lot of Greece is very mountainous, and then you have valleys and everything like that, a lot of passes, very rugged terrain. And so he comes over with about 100,000 men. They land on the plain of Marathon. No help from the Spartans is coming. The Spartans use some kind of bullshit. We have the Carnea festival dedicated to Apollo. And under that law, no armies may march until the next full moon. I think it was just the Spartans being cowards, because they sent Phidippides, the runner, down. They said, well, we don't have any help that we can give you. And, well, can I at least get a drink of water? Drink your own sweat, you pussy. The road north leads out of Sparta. Be on it by nightfall or suffer the consequences. And that's basically what they told them. They said no. No. That's what the Spartans said. Which is understandable because, how are we going to fare against these kinds of men that we never fought before? Because the Greeks themselves, the Greeks proper had a, They kind of had a common thing, a coin on. And whenever they decided to fight with one another, they would bring out their best, they bring out their best hoplites. And they would meet in this place at this time, and they'd have a fight, where victorious hoplite armies would suffer about 7% casualties. Losing hoplite armies would lose 14%. And then they would give quarter, bury the dead, and the winners would set up a tripod, and that's how war was fought. A lot of the shit that went down in the Peloponnesian War could have been avoided had the Athenians just come out and said, send an envoy out to the Spartan king, your best 10,000 against my best 10,000. No tricks, no fancy weapons, just man against man. And this coin on was, how can all of our young men be more like the Homeric heroes? Ajax of Salamis, Achilles of Pylos, Odysseus, these Homeric heroes who they all looked up to. And that was the coin on that the Greeks had. They wouldn't bring a lot of archers. Later, during the Peloponnesian War, things just get out of hand. But let's get back to the subject at hand. Nobody had ever faced a Persian before. They did back in the later centuries when they colonized all of the Turkish states and along the coast. They went the path of least resistance when they colonized and everything. But they had never faced them in open warfare. And so basically the Persians show up, and the Athenians sit outside of a palisade for about 3 days because help is coming from Sparta. And I think the Spartans made the march up in about 3 days when they finally got there. But they they waited behind a palisade because they did not want to face down the cavalry, because hoplites are a good soldier choice. The only problem with hoplites is you can't chase anything after the enemy breaks from you. You can't chase them at all. So finally, they're losing time. Datis decides to load up all of his horsemen, and the moment that happens, they give the signal, the hippes are away, the horsemen are away, the horsemen are away. The Greeks come up out of the palisade, form in line of battle, and they approach the Persians at a run. And they basically kept their center thin and their wings packed very, very dense. They engaged the Persians, got through the arrows. Now this was called the run to the shouting. They ran a mile to close the distance because they didn't want them to have time to offload the cavalry, which would make problems for them, because they did a lot of they did a lot of loggering. They took a lot of felled trees. They surrounded the good ground with those felled trees to kind of make the cavalry irrelevant. So they went man to man. The armies met, and the center kind of gave way. It gave way. There must have been a signal for this, because there was something that similar that happened at the Battle of Cannae under Hannibal, where he was able to pincer the legionaries, and then the same thing happened at Austerlitz, where Napoleon was able to do a pincer. And so they gave way. Hoplites in the center began to break and run. They lost about 192 men, and then the wings came in and they collapsed the Persian army, and they killed about 6,400 Persians, and they were hewing off the arms as they were trying to get on the ships. They captured 7 Persian vessels. They sent one runner back to Athens to warn the skeleton crew of hoplites that they did have there to not surrender if they see the Persian army and that they were coming. And the words were, "Joy to you, we won." And he died with that. The runner that got back, and that's where we get the modern day distance for marathon. So I hope that helped. Who said they almost know nothing about marathon? Pabekis. I hope that helped just a little bit. Ranger is going to be even more long-winded than me. I'm just giving it to you in short form because I don't have any notes in front of me. It's about time to change brushes. But that's the long and the short of it. A very, very brilliant pincer maneuver. And they chose the ground pretty well. You know, they knew they didn't have any cavalry. They knew they didn't have any archers. And the archers that the Persian army had, they're good, but the bows that they're using are a very big far cry from the compound bows used by the Mongols in the later centuries of the Roman times, and wait a minute, I'm trying to think of the low Middle Ages by the Mongols, and then the longbow used by the English. These arrows that they're shooting, they can penetrate light armor, but they're going to glance off the shield. I would go out to say even that with the hoplites shield and the way it was designed and everything, I would say that some of the longbow and Mongol arrows probably would glance off the shield. But if they got you in the chest plate or something like that, yeah, it's going to be ugly and it's probably going to penetrate your armor. But there have been reports of some of those longbow arrows penetrating shields. Agincourt could have been completely different if the French were using shields and they had packed up and they had their shields out in front of them. But the fashionable thing at the time was the half-long sword. A lot of knights dismounted, made spears out of their lances, and they were using the French arming sword. And that's one of the things that kind of devastated the French, is that they ran, the worst thing to be during the 100 Years' War would have been a Scots pikeman with little to no armor advancing towards longbows. Whereas if you have a shield, number one, there's only 9 targets in swordsmanship, and that shield used by the hoplites is taking 6 of those targets off of the table. If you combine it with the helmet. and then your neighbor's protecting you, and you're very hard to get to. And it's not the guys up front who are pushing you that you got to worry about. It's the guys in back who are actually dealing the blows. And then you have the ones who are pushing forward as this tank moves and kills everything. And then you got the Greek spear, the dory, has a butt spike. So if there's a wounded guy underneath you, you just hit him with the spike real quick, finish him off. And so there's a little bit of military history. Let's see here. These guys need some metallics. And I don't know if I want to use... We're going to use a standard metallic. I don't know if I want to use adamantium on these. I'm mixing it up a little bit. Adamantium, then steel. Well, let's see here. We're going to paint this guy's gun. We're going to do leather. It's a little distracting hanging out at the same time and talking to you guys and painting, but maybe I can get better at it. So keep the questions coming in, and hopefully we can have a good stream here. Nothing killy about cultists. The primary killy wing of my army is going to be some battle Sakarans, obliterators. I have a Helldrake and a Demon Prince. And so I'm just going to try to map out the first 100 power, because we're always playing in Crusade mode. We're not playing with points, because how do you figure requisition points with where 1 rec point equals 5 power? And so here I am just painting up guys. Let's see here. Got 96 Victrix hoplites in the mail today. Really want to build a good hoplite army. I have a lot of videos for that. If you go through my history, if you look up how to paint hoplites, I'm sure you'll find me. But if you go through my history, I have a lot of videos on painting hoplites and doing it. And I was actually going to paint a Victrix one pretty soon, to be exact, because I haven't done a tutorial for the Victrix hoplite on painting, but I painted the Warlord ones. And I can tell you that, I think I've got the most, like the building, what you want to do, how you want to do it. I mean, all of that's there on the channel. So I hope you can go through and find what you need out of that. Is there a first half hour then you can curse? Oh, yeah. The first half hour, then you can curse. Yeah, I don't know what YouTube does anymore. I mean, I've almost given up, but not really. I don't want to give up too much just yet. But I'm really hoping that, maybe this battle throughout history can help me get to 3K, because then the algorithm eases up on you just a little bit. And if you get, definitely if you get to 5K, all of that algorithmic suppression kind of goes away by about 50%. They start to leave you alone. Frickin' details. Details. These guys got hoses sticking out of their mouths. They got gas masks. All right. A little bit of metallic. Not much. Okay, I think we're good with him. Let's see here. Let's go back to this guy. Anything else? Oh, yeah, he has a eyeball here. It's going to be glass, some kind of lens. All right. I just want to work through my colors. The knife. There you go. You always miss something. Oh, well, thank you for watching them. I hope you got something out of them. That's kind of why I do it. I think the difference between me and a lot of other guys on YouTube who do painting tutorials is that I think, like, if you were to compare me to the Miniac makes it seem very easy and very glamorous. All right, and I got to keep remembering that my camera's over there. Very easy and very glamorous. And I show you the down and dirty everything when it comes to painting. None of this is glamorous. It's fun. It's relaxing. But it's kind of a job. You know, I don't think that, and I try to really show that aspect. And I wonder how many sins I'm committing right now just on screen with what I'm doing, where I've got my miniature and everything, and you know. All right, all right, all right. What else we got? We got this guy's eyeball real quick, and then we can switch to a bigger brush. All right, bigger brush time. As usual, I got dirty water, cleaner water. Yes, I've seen Kings and Generals. Yeah, that's if you have the time to put those kinds of videos together and do the historical research, which is something I do not have time to do, unfortunately. Yeah, you could probably make a little bit of money. They're probably doing great, you know, gangbusters. Especially if you're a real big historian like the Ranger or something like that, you know, and you put up a diagram, you use maps and everything. You can make a lot of money as a military historian, especially if you're good, you know, especially if you're good and you've got the time. Time is something that's a commodity to me. Right before I was even doing this, I was kickboxing. I just said, you know, I've got an hour before I have to be here. Why don't I go and kickbox and burn some more energy, go burn some muscle? So that's what I decided to do with that time. This guy's got like a crap ton of dog tags. Uh-oh, it just blew into the microphone. There's a sin. That's another sin. You know, I don't even know if I need this camera up there. You know, just hanging out. I could just use the webcam or something like that, but I guess this is okay. Right now, I did watch a gaming video today. I was watching the Solo Wargamer, and you know what I find offensive. This is what offends me. The Solo Wargamer is a black content creator. And YouTube says they want to promote black content creators, and this poor guy's only got he's been doing it as long as I have, and he hasn't even gotten to his 3K yet, you know. And I if anything, YouTube should be promoting him. You know, I think YouTube's being complete and total BS and racist towards his channel, you know. Whereas like all of a sudden some chick gets 50K because you know she's a 6, and if you were going to sleep with her, you have to drink her up to a 7, you know. You'd have to get really drunk because you're going to regret it the next day. She can get 40,000 subs, no problem, because she posted on Instagram that one time. I don't know. I don't pretend to know what's in the algorithm. I really wish it was 2006 again when anybody could have done it, you know. And my favorite channel was Movie Mayhem, and every now and then he would do Gaming Mayhem, and Gaming Mayhem he would play these big 4,000 point battles of Warhammer Fantasy, and that was one of my favorite. And he was the same guy who had his army messed up by Blue Table. I got out there and I did 180 kicks on each leg, so that's what I did today. Nothing special. I did stationary ladder at about 5:30 a.m. for 20 minutes. And then I did some stretches and I came here. That was the entirety of the workout. I want to toughen up those shins. Maybe a good goal for me would be to break a baseball bat and put that on YouTube. And be like, I'm coming for you. That's right. I've never heard of the Critical Drinker. I've never heard of him. And you know, I can tell you another reason why a lot of people are on YouTube. Angry Video Game Nerd. That guy, you know, even though I'm not subscribed to him anymore, but I do go back and I watch his old videos because I still get something out of them because, number one, we're about the same age, and I remember what it was like to go to Blockbuster Video, rent a crappy game by LJN. It's Spider-Man. but it's an LJN game, and it's got the Rainbow of Death on it, and it's going to suck. And the only thing I feel bad for is that he never made the big millions. He never made the mega millions like Markiplier or PewDiePie, and if you ask me, he deserves it, whereas those guys, they don't. There's nothing special about them. I don't see it. Other people might, but, you know, he inspired a lot of people just to get out and vlog, you know. And I could watch him all day. Just the Alf for the NES was probably for the Sega Master System, probably the best review. The FBI agents on every corner look like pedophiles. Why are they creepily grabbing the air? Come here, Alf. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to grab your alien ass. So there's that. Let's see. Next color, we're going to do some snakebite leather. These guys got a bunch of, what do you call it on them? Ropes and bandages or whatever. That's another paint I think that's on my list. No, I think I bought. Oh, I did. Cool. Let's shake this up and put a little bit of leather brown in the pot. Get some water too. Boom. I use the old Citadel pots. The old Citadel pots are way better than the new pots. We're going to put a crap ton of this in there. I wish Citadel would just go to droppers. That would probably be a lot better. There we go. A little more, a little more. Now I don't have to worry about it for a little while. Let's get that shaken up, huh? Let's give our paints a good shape. I'll check out Critical Drinker. Right? Yeah, I'll do that. How am I doing so far? Everybody good? Doing good? Anybody got any questions about Marathon or Greek history or something like that? We still got a little bit of time. Oh yeah, plenty. How's the delay on comments? Is it a minute or 30 seconds? I'm beginning to think it's a minute. With all this wizardry here. All right, cool. That's looking good. All right. This guy's got this. He's got a rope with a ball attached, a big old steel ball attached to it. So I'm just going to do that leather color, make it happen real quick. It's 30 seconds. Thank you. I do another channel I need to check out more, and I want to thank him for the Conan books right now. DM James, he's a stream master. I don't know how he does it. He streams like it's going out of style. I wish I had more time to watch him and everything. When the winter hits, I'll be able to catch up on the backlog of his videos. His videos I like because it's kind of like talking to an old familiar face in the game store, and that's kind of what that's like. You tried any contrast paints? Yeah, I have, finally. I bought this contrast yellow, and I just wanted to see it work. I'm going to try it one more time. Not completely impressed. I have better recipes for yellow than I've ever had before. I have better recipes for orange than I've ever had before. Let's see here. Let me go off screen real quick. Alright, let's get back out here. So I got this guy. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see him because I've got a delay and I can't see it on camera. So hopefully I've got it in frame. It's going to be a second here. It's coming. Oh yeah, he's showing up good. So this guy, I just look. You see, I'm a cheater. I didn't paint. I'm not painting over there. I'm not painting below it. But yeah, I just did the orange up on that, and the way I did it was I took This is like Aberland. I have 2 pots of this still. The old Foundation Yellow. And I mixed it with Wild Rider Red. And it was about I want to say 60%, 40% yellow mixture. And then when it dried, I washed it with Casadora Yellow. And that's how I got that. And I arrived to this afterwards. Painting for me is always a progression. It's always a progression. I always learn something new when I do it. I never come out to be like I'm not a professional artist. There's a huge difference between me and a professional artist like Samuel Lenz or something like that. Huge difference. I mean, they already have a plan. I just start painting. Like, I'm going to show you my Sakharins real fast. Hold on. Now, I did this completely wrong with the hazard wobbles. Now, what I'm going to do next time I do hazard wobbles is I'm going to paint the surface brown. Because the mixture I've got for orange works on anything. All right, so I'm going to paint the entire surface brown, and I'm going to do the black hazard wobbles, and then I'm going to delete what I don't like with the brown. Then I'm going to paint the yellow on. The yellow-orange mixture on and wash it. And then that will actually do a lot better. You can kind of see the lines. They're okay, but they're not great. And I think this is the Ventnar. This one I did a little better job on. This one came second. This one was second. And that's why they're a little bit more consistent with the hazard wobbles and everything. And so this is 10 power. It's got 2 las cannons. It's got a heavy bolter, and it's got this big heavy gun on it that is actually pretty good if I don't move. The other one I kind of screwed up on. This was the first one. You always have a disadvantage when you're first. This is my normal Sakharin battle tank. It's got 2 heavy bolters, the Sakharin autocannon. There's nothing special about this. I'm just hoping to use this as an anti-infantry platform if I see Terminators or something like that. And I don't even think it's going to do diddly against other Chaos Terminators. But you can kind of see that these hazard wobbles are just a little bit bigger. They're a little bit bigger. And then this side right here, you can see where I screwed up. And if I had known what I know now, if I had that mixture then, because I tried Gundam markers like an idiot. I got a pack of these, and I have another one. So I have another pack of them somewhere. And they're all the way over there. I'm not getting them. I tried Gundam markers. They're not bad. They're just not great. So that's if you want to save a little bit of time on something, you can always cut the felt down and use them on Marines or something. Because if you just give your guys, if you just get some markers, even children can get into the hobby. That is the most pedophilic thing I've ever seen. How do we get children into the hobby? Oh, this hobby is not for children. I tried that. I did try the tape, and that was kind of taking too long. I couldn't quite get it in there. There are other surfaces that are better for the tape, but I also did make a stencil out of cardboard to kind of keep my lines straight. And that helped a little bit, but drawing them on out of the brown and black together, that will probably be a lot better than just going from a straight field of white. A straight field of white. Yeah, that'll be a lot better. Now I gotta finish this weapon. Yeah, I don't know how DM James has a voice after doing this. I'm feeling exhausted. This is more exhausting than kickboxing. I gotta keep within the lines. I come from Lower Uncton. I stream for a living. This is what I do. We live in the UK. We don't produce anything of value. They have some fine stripping edge tape that works great on vehicles. I'll have to look into it. Leave me a link in the comments after the video posts. I'll look into it because I think I can look through live chat, but I don't know. I know they have stencils. I think for Iron Warrior Hazard Wobbles. I know that some people have actually crafted doors. 3D printed doors that you can put on and everything where you want your hazard wobbles. Right now, more proof that this hobby is not for poor people. Hashtag price poor people out of the hobby. A guy has an entire Iron Warriors 30K army on sale for $10,000 with all the trimmings. Reaver Titan, Mastodon, you name it. He's got everything. He's got all the toys. I would totally buy it. I would totally actually spend the $10,000, except for that, then I would have to figure out a way, how am I going to make the $10,000 back? Because that won't be $10,000 going into my mortgage payment when I finally pay the house off. And once the house is paid for, maybe I'll go out and buy myself a game store or something. And then all you guys can buy stuff from me. That'll be me exploiting my YouTube reach. I am playing the Greeks. The Ranger is playing the Persians. We have not decided on a system. I was thinking Hail Caesar. That might go a little bit faster, but I think we're going to play Warhammer Ancients. I actually in one of the shows I will showcase the Imperial Fists army that I bought. I spent $800 and bought an Imperial Fists army, and I just like the way the guy painted it. It's really cool. He used a metallic gold color for them, and he even showed me he even gave me a recipe on how to do it. So I'm going to be expanding to the force. I'll add the Land Raiders. I'll add the extra 10 tactical Marines to that, and I might buy a Mastodon for my Imperial Fists, because that would be hilarious. I have a bunch of Terminators running out of the Mastodon turn 2 and just bullying you off of objectives and kicking the shit out of everyone. Uh-oh, I swore. I said the S word. Uh-oh. We said it on NYPD Blue. You used the S word on cop drama. Yeah, what's up, Charles? I'll beat the shit out of you. Ancients are... So yes, I am eyeing Horus Heresy. I am building an Iron Warriors for both 30K and 40K so that me and my buddy Anthony can do some of the scenarios if there are any between Iron Warriors and Imperial Fists. There was a guy who was talking mad shit in our 40K group. He's like, well, we'll see how much Holy Diver likes painting yellow. And my buddy Anthony's like, nah, it's been taken care of. He spent $800 on eBay and bought an army. Hashtag price poor people out, by the way. I just never get used to saying that. Painting belts now. Old fat guy's got to go to bed. Oh, come on, man. Well, that's very nice of you to tune in. I can't believe how fast time has flied since I started. I set a timer. I'm already at a minute. I'm gonna cancel this, and I'm gonna put it in for about 15 minutes of overtime. Let's see. Imperial Fists think this is a hobby for kids. This is not a hobby for kids. No. If I had children, I would not. I'd be like, you want some of that? Go start a business of mowing lawns. I'll buy you a lawnmower and you can earn your own money for the hobby. I would never let my kids play this game if I had any. Mostly because it's just too expensive and kids have short attention spans. Very short attention spans. Especially when they're boys and they turn 17. and they discover women for the first time, and they disappear for long tracks. Or, oh wait, they realize that when you're 18 years old, you have zero sexual marketplace value. You don't have two pennies to rub together, and the only thing you're good for is getting blown up in the war, a war, or being expendable. That's it. And the moment you turn 18, no matter how attractive you are, women, they immediately disappear and start dating men in their 30s. The women your age immediately disappear and start dating men in the 30s. Or they go to college and they get filled out like a job application by every Tom, Dick, and Harry there. You know, there's the sensitive guy. I'm the guitar guy at the party, and I'm gonna sleep with your girlfriend 'cause I'm the guitar guy. I'm gonna make your girlfriend think we have a special connection. Please bail me out of my student loans. I majored in journalism and art history. You know, it's going to be a dark winter for Germany if they don't get their coal shit online before Russia just decides to turn off the natural gas. And I wonder what guys are going to be getting all the women. Guys who can chop down trees and keep and install a wood stove. Because I guarantee that's going to be happening. The sexiest man alive, mark my words, is going to be Gunther with his axe, with his Chad swagger and his axe slinged over his shoulder, going "Guten Tag, Fräulein." And I can install the wood I can install the wood stove so that you will not freeze, but that will cost you. I need a Scheisse party, whatever that is. German Scheisse porn. Yeah, you have to be a net earner, definitely, to come back to the hobby. And it was a little different in the 90s. It was attainable. I could get 20 orcs for $35, and then I could go buy an orc knob for $45. That wasn't that bad. And then later on, I could go rinse and repeat. And then I could buy a Land Raider and build a battle wagon. Or I could buy a truck. The new truck model didn't come out until later. I didn't start playing orcs until the end of 5th edition. I was playing salamanders. I even had Tyranids and Wordbearers for a brief stint. I'm trying to think of one more 40k army I might have played. I think that's it. Then I've been an orc player for damn near 20 years. Yeah, the German guy, the lumberjack with the axe slung over his shoulder. He's definitely going to be elbow deep in some puss. Yes, absolutely. If you care about your daughters, you should not send them to college. I actually had whenever I have a conversation with my oldest niece, I always tell her, Uncle Johnny loves you, and he will never lie to you. And I pointed out that you wanted to be an architect, yet you're struggling with basic arithmetic to add up your Yahtzee score. Uncle Johnny, by the way, won at Yahtzee. I rolled 5 ones twice in a row and got a Yahtzee token. And I said, but you're really good at reading, and you can read anything out loud very well. Have you considered volunteering for LibriVox recordings? She didn't know what that was. So I let her listen to about 10 minutes of Xenophon on YouTube, which is free. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain, and they're all about bringing the classics to audio style. So you can get, I think you can get all Titus, the Germania Agricola, all kinds of classics on LibriVox. And I said, maybe you build up a resume of things that you've done for LibriVox, and then you go try to be a performing artist and do a book for Audible or something like that. It's just a suggestion. It's just a suggestion, nothing special. But she has a really good voice, and she can do this. She can read a hell of a lot better than me. I'm all like, the the red, and then you got Billy Madison piping in to the day, Junior. That was me when I was her age, you know, and of course all my nieces are like all my nieces and nephews are private school kids, so Catholic private school kids, so I don't have to worry about them not knowing how to read, whereas in public school you gotta watch that shit. If you love your children, you homeschool them nowadays. That way they don't have to be hip to the globo homo agenda. Oh, I said homo. I'm gonna be I can't say it. Algorithmically suppressed. I got autism. I can't say that word. Algorithmically suppressed. Sprockets SNL My Touch. Monkey. What is Sprockets SNL Touch My Monkey? I have no idea what that is. Oh, it might become a regular thing. Right now in the winter, definitely I'd have to do it, especially if I just get off of work and I don't have a lot to do because I've already worked out and painted and everything. During the summer, it's been a mixed bag of things, and it is what it is right now. I'm very busy. You know, I'm usually about 50, just past 50 hours of work a week, and then my workout schedule and stuff like that. I would like to. I've got an extra desk that I bought, and I have to get the full-time setup. I've been creeping on the big channels on Instagram, and I'm looking at their setups and everything, and I'm like, holy cow, they have entire rooms dedicated to this BS. Like, my setup is only part-time. When I'm done streaming and everything, the computer goes back upstairs. Half of the stuff stays down here. The part of the setup stays down here. And I go about my business, and I haven't even had enough time to write segments for the Holy Diver show because I've been so busy. It's the kickboxing. I just, when I'm done sparring, I do have some footage that I'll put up of me sparring a pro, and that's where I actually got my first sports injury. I tore my calf muscle, so I've been taking it easy for the last 2 weeks, but I've been making sure to do at least 400 bag kicks a week to toughen up my shins, because I think that breaking a baseball bat with my shins is an achievable goal. But and it's like you just don't worry. You have less stress, and I'm not worried about things. And then I played a game of this is actually some pretty funny shit. Less stress, that doesn't exist. I'm lying there. I played a game of what do you call it? Warhammer 40K with my buddy Wobbles, the Tau player, and I finally win a roll-off. I beat a dude in a roll-off. He rolled a 5, I rolled a 5. He rolled a 6, I rolled a 6. He rolled a 4, I rolled a 5. And I started like busting a nut everywhere, and the whole game I'm like shaking, knocking shit over and everything, and I'm just like I'm like Dave Chappelle in Half Baked signing for the marijuana. He can't get it together while he's signing for the marijuana. And I mean, for the first time, I don't know what Wobbles said. He said something that made me laugh. Then Anthony chimed in. I started to laugh, and I shot malt liquor out of my nose. And then everybody was laughing in that basement. I wish that was a YouTube moment. That's what my 40K group is like. Somebody says something overtly racist, or whatever, and it was a joke, because we believe in jokes when we play games. And I shot malt liquor out of my nose, and it was just like everywhere. Like it was a squirt from both nostrils. And I was kind of out of commission for a minute there. And that's what happened during my last 40K game. I am proud to say I shot malt liquor out of my nose like a man should. All right, we got some more here. Not your dad. So I like historical wargaming, but prefer individual control of miniatures for game systems like War. Okay, yeah. My suggestion to you is Warhammer Ancients. Base those guys up on squares, and you'll be removing casualties and everything. And I absolutely like Warhammer Ancients. So not your dad. If you're a fan of individual control of miniatures, Warhammer Ancients all day. What we have done is we have bastardized the old fantasy rule set from 8th edition, and I took out the parts of the historical rule set that I didn't like and added those parts to the system. So it's a bastard version, but me and Ranger have a lot of fun when we play it. It's a skit from SNL in the 90s. I'll check it out. German talk show. I don't think I can make it in Germany on TV. I don't speak German. I'm getting a lot better at my Japanese. Just say, son. Watashi wa... What? Oh, okay, I know what to say. Just say, son. Watashi wa shiro ochin ga hoshi desu ka? Do you want some white dick? That's what you say to the ladies. And they'll love you for it. And the Ranger finally just joined us. What's up, man? WAB is good. Yes, it is. Right, sounds brilliant. And so that's where I'm at now. I've also learned how to say I have things. So watashi wa sandwicho ga iru. I have. They don't have a word for have. It's a verb, to exist. And if it's an inanimate object like a sandwich, you use the verb aru, which means the same as iru. So watashi wa haha ga iru. I have a mother. And there's a otosan. That's father. Watashi wa otosan ga iru. I have a dad, or something like that. Or watashi wa ikitai yamafuji desu. I want to climb. I want to go to Mount Fuji. Sono yamara rinki garu. The mountain is very famous. Yeah, so I'm getting a little better, but that language is so freaking hard, and they're communicating with sounds. Yewa is house. E is like say, or E, a hard E is good. E deska or E disne. It's barbaric. I have to go like all samurai, like Toshiro. I sound like I'm in a Toshiro Mifune film. Mushiwaki harimasen, sengaku arimasu. So I'm sorry, I'm engaged. Keikon shite masu ka, josei-san? Woman, are you married? I call every woman I meet, I'm going to be like, woman, josei-san, woman. You can say it with a little authority. But that's, I do about 1.5 hours of phrases a day. I read How to Speak Japanese for Dummies when I can. There's better ways to learn the language, I'm sure. It's just that you got to find the time. Well, it wasn't available when I was in high school. I wish I could have taken 3 years of that. I speak better Spanish than I do Japanese. I'd be like, oye, gordo, ¿tienes demasiado los niños? Hey, fatso, do you have too many kids? That's how I burn the Mexicans at work. ¿Por qué? Porque habla no inglés? And this one guy told me he'd been here 4 months. That's great, and we've already hired him? That's brilliant. The 2.0 Army book is not as good as the supplements. Is that for Warhammer? I am planning to visit, but they have to get rid of the COVID restrictions in Japan, which I don't think that they'll do for a little while. I don't have the money to quarantine for 7 days and do nothing in a hotel. I don't have that kind of money. I got enough money to spend 7 days in Kozaku, which is about an hour and 30 minutes away from Mount Fuji by by train, but I do not have that kind of money to sit 14 days, 7 of them in quarantine. It's just not feasible. You'd have to ask the Ranger. Ranger, what version of the WAB book did you buy? I think it's the 2.0 version. I think there's only 2 versions of the WAB book. Going good on battery. Hopefully he answers. But no, this first stream has gone pretty well. If anybody has any questions, get them in now. We'll go another 5 minutes, and I'll try to answer your questions as best I can and everything. We talked about a lot today, and I'm really glad so many of you showed up. I didn't even get to my topic of just dealing with generic workload. But, I guess when it comes to painting armies, you should always pick an initial force first. We have all the supplements. That's what he said. I think we are using the 2nd edition book. I don't think they ever got to a 3rd edition. I think they shut everything down. Shut it down. We don't want to pay royalties. We're Games Workshop. Yeah, we're using the 2.0 supplement, and I said that earlier that we bastardized the rule set with fantasy rules so that big units don't run away as easily and everything like that. Oh, I need this brush. I'm getting some of this stuff is getting done, but I'm not getting a lot done. It's really, I think if I do more streams, I'll get better at what I'm supposed to be, better at all of this overall. But I told the Ranger that I would have that I would quickly get my shit together and remember how to do live streams. And so that's why I'm doing this tonight. I'm doing this for him. And, well, for the show, we're going to do a show on Friday. He's got and I just told him I would do a live stream and make sure everything works, and hopefully this is going over pretty well. Oh, the characters for fantasy as well. You can make a buff character. He's supposed to be cool. This is Marcus Aurelius when he was young or something like that. You can do that kind of stuff in fantasy, whereas like in Hail Caesar, the general doesn't really do anything. Same with, our games of a pike and shot. The characters have abilities that they give out and everything. And that's why we kind of put the fantasy rule setting into it a little bit. Every army's kind of got to have its own flavor and everything. And, the first thing we did with cavalry is we made all cavalry, heavy cavalry or medium cavalry, they're all strength 4. So they're all strength 4 base. So that if they charge with a spear or if they charge with a lance, they'll be strength 6. If they charge with a spear, they'll be strength 5. That way they will actually hit harder and inflict casualties, which is important. Okay, did I play War Master? I wish. Rick Priestley wrote that game, and it's one of his better games. I've seen it played, and the guys who played it, they played it at Gajo, which I have not been to for almost a year. They had a blast. If I could find some decent armies and have them built, I would commission that project out. As for Epic, ECW, ACW, American Civil War, I never played it. I painted up 1 box of ACW figures, and I gave those figures to my benefactor in Tennessee when I went on the hog hunt. I had to give him something, and he treated me like a son when I was out there, and now I'm glad that he had something to add to his collection of miniatures for that scale. They're a little smaller than 15s, but not bad. And I hope he gets a chance to use them. Randy, if you're out there, thank you again. Yeah, but this has gone pretty well. Let's see here. Anything else that we missed? Before I leave, I'll make sure I've done all the leather on these guys. So I did go into a little bit of overtime. I've got battery on my camera. I also have to test the battery on my camera because I have an AC adapter, like right here. But for whatever reason, when I plug it into the camera, it turns off after 5 minutes. And if anybody knows how to fix that problem, let me know. Maybe the AC adapter's bad, but I like my technology to work, you know. And I'm not a big tech guy. My friend Daniel is hopefully going to come out of the woodwork and do some teching for me and stuff. When was the last concert you went to? Check out Visigoth and Night Demon. I've met a couple of the guys in Visigoth. Not impressed. Some of them are nice, but a couple of them are upper crust Park City kids. And a couple of them also work at Whole Foods. It's kind of hilarious. They're not like the local legends where I live are Royal Bliss. And they used to play at a club, and this was a tradition. Royal Bliss would play at Portocall every Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. So for a couple of years, me and a couple of buddies, me and a couple of girlfriends, we'd go down to Portocall. I'd get drunk. We'd watch Royal Bliss. We'd all go our separate ways because we all had places to be the next day, and that was a tradition for a lot of years. And then they bulldozed Portocall to put up a courthouse. But there were some good shows there at Portocall. But yeah, I know who Visigoth is. I actually live in the same state they come from. Not going to say the name. Not going to say the name. I don't want to dox myself. Somebody will find me and then a bomb will end up on my porch. Be like, oh, that holy diver, he sure is a racist asshole. I wish I could get him. Me and a couple of my okay, so I will tell you now, truthfully, I have not been on a date or with a woman this entire year. I have taken all of that money, energy, and time and calories of effort into my kickboxing, my painting, and my Japanese lessons, and my drawing. I've also been drawing a lot, so all of those calories of effort have went elsewhere. All of the money has gone into my bank account and my stock portfolio. Because if you analyze the ROR, the rate of return on the pursuit of women, you'll find out that there isn't really a good rate of return on the pursuit of women. A guy like the Ranger, I'm going to use the Ranger as example, tall, good looking, he can probably swipe 2,000 times. 2,000 times, and then this is the best part. He'll get 15 dates, of which one or two of them will sleep with him, but it will turn into nothing serious. And that is the ROR on the rate of return. Think about like this. The average man spends 2 hours a night 2 hours a night swiping on Tinder. 2 hours a night swiping on Tinder. Think about all of the things he can do with that extra 2 hours. He can go to the gym and get buff. Because why does anybody want to be weak? He can study, learn a different language, teach himself a skill like accounting or auto repair. He can go get a part-time job. I mean, like, if you look at the ROR of the rate of return on just painting miniatures for other people, the part-time job at the gas station beats the crap out of it every single time. About the only time I do commission painting is that I used to have a friend for a while. He had a shake, and he would pay me some money, and I'd make sure that his armies got ready for a tournament or something like that. And I'm still waiting for my buddy Randy to buy my Abyssal Dwarfs. I'm sure that'll come through the pipeline. But just think about all the things you can do if you weren't swiping for 2 hours. If you got a part-time job, that would raise our GDP probably by 1% per person in this country. I'm not a big economics guy, but I dabble. Ranger would probably know the number on that. If every guy just got a part-time job, what that would do to the world there. Let's see. I got some questions. And if you choose between Queen and Dio, be gay. Okay. Flash Gordon soundtrack. Okay, Queen. You can be gay and make great music. Judas Priest is proof of that. Rob Halford, he is a metal god, but he's also a leather queen. But the important thing is he makes it. When he's on tour, he makes it a joke. He's like, I heard stories from Cannibal Corpse where he comes in wearing these extra short shorts. Hey boys, and everybody scatters like cockroaches from the table in the mess hall. All right, yeah. So if I have to choose Queen, anything from the Highlander soundtrack, which never gets radio time. Dio, my favorite song by Dio is Don't Talk to Strangers from the Holy Diver album itself. And the other one is All the Fools Sailed Away. That's another good song by Dio. I can talk about Dio for hours. And then let's see here. The Soy Boys will turn up with a funnel and yeah. They'll try to overpower me, make me drink the soy milk. And I don't want to drink the soy milk. I eat bacon and eggs, and you got to get buff because nobody wants to be weak. Gotta wear a uniform if you want the women. That is true. If you go to like poor trailer parks where white women live, the mother will be like, all you have to do is marry a soldier and get him to put a baby in you, and your life is perfect forever. And I have a feeling that if you're just a young grunt in the military and you're getting pussy bombed, you're not wearing a condom, and you're making some bad decisions. Old saying, you lose money chasing chicks. Yes, you do. I've gotten to a point where it's like I'm spending my money on my adventures. I went on a big vacation, 7 days almost, in Tennessee. I'm thinking about another vacation in Montana to go up and see a friend of mine. Things are a little bit iffy right now. My dad's having some problems. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't need any sympathy. Don't need it, I'm going to let this scenario pay out. So I don't want to get too far away from home, but I am going deer hunting I'll make a couple deer hunting videos when I'm out this year, because I think Thursday I can buy another combination or something like that. Let's see. You got somewhere I can send you a pic of my goblin army. Hit me up on Instagram. The link is in the description, and just I'll be sure to look for messages. Just follow me and then message me on Instagram. That's the best place. I do all my bench updates there. If I paint something, it goes right up on Instagram. Let's see here. Klaus Schwab. Yeah, that MFer. You'll live in the pods and eat the bugs because Klaus Schwab, George Soros, and Bill Gates, the owners of the world, said so. That's why they want to eliminate borders, so that they can just keep importing a limitless cheap labor. I think that is true there. Any plans on getting married and having kids? Okay, if I were to get married and have kids, I would do it in a different country. I would literally do it in a different country. If I have to shovel shit out of stables in Japan somewhere, or I was brushing up on my Spanish because I was looking at Colombia a little bit, but they just went full commie. I would do it in a different country. I would not raise my children here. Mostly because the schools are terrible, and we've ruined the sexes for one another. I think that, 30 years of, you're so strong and independent, you don't need a man, you just need you just need your education and your career. We've ruined the sexes. You can be fat, there's so much that you can go in there. I don't think I could. Is there the right woman? That remains to be seen. I haven't met any women recently worth talking to for more than 2 minutes. I tell you, when we are sparring at the regular weightlifting gym, it's funny to see like women cross over to go to the squat machines by where we're doing it and watch us do our Chad routine in front of everybody, and then like you'll have like these alpha boyfriends come up, hey, you need to say where I see you. I need to know where you are always, or you know. And that's kind of fun. Or, you know, I can actually talk to a chick like, hey, thanks for distracting my friend with that perfect ass of yours. That gets them every time. But no, I just, I haven't given it much thought. And, you know, just like I said, taking my own money, keeping my own calories of effort, and going on my adventures, that's kind of where I'm at in life. Live like a king in Bali. I have no clue where that is. Is that India? I don't think I want to go to India. I want to go someplace that's very close to the second world, and I think Thai is probably too hard to learn if it's anything like, and it's nothing like Japanese. Nothing is like Japanese, but you know, it's I don't know. You got to have a backup plan, someplace to be, and that's why you do reconnaissance. If I move anywhere else in the United States, I'm looking into Arkansas, because you should read a book called Bachelor Pad Economics. It says one of the lines in Bachelor Pad Economics is, as you get older, you might decide that you hate the cold. So you got to find a place to live where it doesn't snow. You know, simple as that. All right, I think we're reaching our 11th hour here. Does anybody have any more questions or anything else they want to talk about real fast? Yes, Arkansas is hot as hell. I was told that they have 3 seasons. They have rainy season, boob sweat weather, and then they have no ass is ever dry weather. But that's just because I'll never be able to afford a house in Vegas the way things are going. I'll never be able to afford a house in St. George. And let's face it, New Mexico's a dump. Indonesia is close to Australia and a cheap holiday destination. Yeah, that is true. Pebeckus, aren't you a Kiwi from New Zealand, though? Vitrix is probably the #1 maker of historical miniatures right now. I think that if Reaper miniatures got into the market, they would blow everybody out of the water with sculpts. They would they would explode the market. If they were to develop hoplites where all you had to do was glue the spear arm on and then put the spear in the hand, they would destroy the market. They would kill everybody out there. And Reaper is just one of those companies. They got their one thing. We make monsters for Dungeons and Dragons, and that's all we do. Okay, so you're Australian, all right. I used to watch a show on Australian news called Clark and Daw, and there's this guy. He's like, well, nobody wants a whale to die, but you know, I don't know how I stumbled on it, but I started to watch it, and then Clark died, I think, and then they didn't do any more shows. But yeah, you might know Clark and Daw, where you're from. No, I'm not going to Singapore. I already have trouble with Japan. I see Japan as a very clean and neat place to live, and somehow it's like, let's say I'm in the wrong train station, 2 p.m., I cough on my left shoulder while facing east. Somehow that offends the emperor, and my punishment is 30 canings. Singapore would be far worse because I would spit my gum out on the ground, and that would be 30 canings. I don't want, but I am a firm believer in the caning. If they would just cane some of these people for doing drugs, you know, it's like, oh, you got caught for possession, 30 canings. I bet you'll never do that again. Don't get me wrong. I am a full fan of the canings. It's just that I don't want to be caned. So therefore, I don't want to take the chance of accidentally having the gum fall out of my mouth and them seeing it. You know, I'm also a proponent of the death penalty, you know. But that's a different story. Reaper started making historical minis. Confederate soldiers would start appearing with giant, what is that? Pauldrons and flourished leather belts straps everywhere. See, I can't read. Okay. No, I think they could do a good job and definitely show those guys in the UK what's up because they're they're one of the only American companies doing this. Everything is in the UK. Well, you see, I live in London. I can't think of anything else that we can produce besides miniatures. I think that they could do a really good job if they just did a Roman and a barbarian line and kept it simple and made chariots and everything. They can make things that work. Reaper Black is a pretty comprehensive line. All right. Is it execute? It could be in Singapore. Yeah, they don't fuck around. Pardon my French, there, YouTube. Yeah, Singapore, they're tough on crime. They are tough on crime. That is for sure. Reaper is a Texas company. That's where they're at. And, the reason why Reaper's around still is because people want to play Dungeons and Dragons. They buy Reaper miniatures, and that's their market. More people. What's the most popular tabletop game? Dungeons and Dragons. It's not Warhammer 40K. It's D&D. Hate to have to tell you that, Games Workshop. Yeah, if they did a line and it was just basically you glue a couple parts on for every legionary and they did it in Bones Black, they would sweep the market very quickly, especially if they made their own transfers, which I'm sure they could do better than anybody else. They could probably do better than anybody else. Oh yeah, I've seen some of those what do you call it? Anthropomorphic mice that they make and everything. Chibits. Shibis. Yeah, I think that's what you're saying. Shibis. Yeah, I actually had one of those for a little while. I painted it up and gave it to one of my girlfriends. Okay, so I'll go to that topic now. Yes, when I was 27, I was getting pussy bombed left and right, and then it kind of slumped off when things got serious with one girl, and then I got a little older, a little wiser. The big head started to overpower the little head, and that's the route I went. So let's just focus on me. Let's just do the kickboxing regiment, do the exercises, see how buff and unstoppable we can get, All right, couple more minutes here, people. I got to go to bed myself. Would be nice. Hate having my stuff shipped from... Yeah. I always try to find something on eBay from somebody here. That's my first filter is United States only. Not that I have anything against the UK. I love all the guys out in the UK. VK, LeonT, all those guys. They're all great guys. It's just that, with COVID bleeping up everything and raising the shipping costs, it's just, it is what it is. And yes, Vitrix is on a roll. At Wargames 341 if you traffic selling product. If you're trafficking, if trafficking or selling product? Okay, I don't know what that is, but I'll figure it out later, I'm sure. If you have any other questions, Christian, you can always get me up on Instagram. All right, okay, I got the leather on these guys. I'll leave it open for a little bit longer, 2 more minutes. It's great having all of you. I didn't think I'd get 61 views. And 12 current. I got 12 current watchers already. That's cool. I haven't had a problem with Perry. They're decent. I think if you order at least $100 worth of stuff, they'll get it to you pretty briskly. Warhammer Fantasy roleplay is pretty fun. Warhammer Quest, like you could roll up things like, oh, here's 2d6 Skaven, everybody. Yeah, that's. I'm sure that's some good times. Can you play it with miniatures? Wow, it's morning in Australia. I guess it's true what they say. It's 5 o'clock somewhere when everybody starts cracking open the brewskis. Glad I could help out. Hope you had some good coffee this morning. Well, all right. I think we're going to end it here. If you guys have anything you want to say to me, put it in the chat at the end of the stream. I'll make sure that this video gets out as soon as possible, as soon as they'll let me post it, because I haven't figured out how to make the video go to the library after the stream ends immediately. So other than that, as you know, YouTube has many features you can use to interact with me. You can like the video, dislike the video, comment, or subscribe. But until I see you again, keep playing, keep painting, and stay metal, my friends. And we'll do one more. I haven't yet. No Warhammer's project for me. Stay metal, my friends.